Imagine an empire that was on the verge of collapse, surrounded by conflict, intrigue, and power struggles. One guy led the way in the late 19th century, overcoming unheard-of obstacles and influencing history. Abdul Hamid II, who was born in Istanbul on September 21, 1842, would take the throne in 1876, when the Ottoman Empire was going through a turbulent period. Sultan Abdul Majid 𝙎 and Tirimijan Kadın were the parents of Abdul Hamid II, who was born in Istanbul on September 21, 1842. Perestu Kadın, his father's legal wife, adopted him following the death of his mother. Adopted by Perestu, Abdul Hamid II grew raised in the same home as his half-sister Semil Sultan. Abdul Hamid II had the chance to visit far-off places, unlike his predecessors. In the summer of 1867, 9 years before he became king, he traveled with his uncle, Sultan Abdulaziz, to Paris, London, Vienna, and a few other European towns. His approach to government and diplomacy was influenced by the diverse cultures and political environments he encountered throughout this journey. The 34th Sultan of the Ottoman Empire, Abdul Hamid II, ascended to the throne in 1876 amid a difficult era characterized by territorial losses and nationalist uprisings. His early experiences and upbringing would influence his rule despite the challenges he endured. Abdul Hamid II himself made furniture and was a good carpenter. His passion was opera, and he translated famous operas into Ottoman Turkish. He opened the opera house of Yıldız Palace to famous European performers. In addition, he organized competitions and invited wrestlers to the palace, since he was an avid wrestling fan. In addition to being a gifted drawing, Abdul Hamid loved Sherlock Holmes books and even gave Sir Arthur Conan Doyle an order. Sheikh Mohammed Zafir al-Madani of Libya had an impact on Abdul Hamid II, who followed traditional Islamic Sufism. After taking the kingdom, he brought the sheikh to Istanbul and attended his teachings while wearing disguises. The Sultan started Sufi memorial ceremonies and had tight contact with the sheikh for 30 years. Demonstrating his commitment to spirituality, he founded a Sufi lodge in Istanbul for the Madani order of Shadili Sufism. After his brother Murad was deposed on August 31, 1876, Abdul Hamid II became the emperor. Even though liberal changes were expected, Abdul Hamid II had to deal with a challenging and crucial time for the Ottoman Empire. Between 1877 and 1878, the empire was beset by political and economic unrest, regional hostilities in the Balkans, and the impending Russo-Turkish War. Due to these difficulties, Abdul Hamid II changed his style of leadership, emphasizing the maintenance of both his political authority and the stability of the empire. He underlined the repercussions of his deeds or inactions, saying, "If I do not serve, I will be held responsible and abominably hated in the presence of Allah in history." To establish a new type of government, Abdul Hamid II worked with the Young Ottomans, a group looking for constitutional arrangements. He proclaimed a new constitution and installed a parliament under the direction of Midhat Pasha in December 1876. Islamic justifications for a liberal shift were intended to be incorporated by the constitution writing panel. The constitution created a bicameral assembly, with the Sultan appointing members, and gave him the power to banish anybody he deemed to be a danger. When Abdul Hamid II famously said, "War doesn't just happen on the borders, war is the total fire of a nation," his concerns were real. Failure to maintain this integrity will make success happen by accident and failure inevitable. When Russia attacked the Ottoman Empire in April 1877, it was dealt a serious blow. As a result, in February 1878, the Treaty of San Stefano was signed, placing strict conditions on the empire, like as giving up territory and giving Romania, Serbia, and Montenegro independence. This led to important reforms inside the empire in Bosnia and Herzegovina as well. The great powers, especially the United Kingdom, became concerned about Russia's growing influence in southeastern Europe after the Treaty of San Stefano. The Congress of Berlin altered the treaty to lessen Russia's benefits as a consequence. In return, Cyprus was given over to the British in 1878. Due to British interference in response to Egypt's problems, which were made worse by Abdul Hamid II's poor management of ties with Urabi Pasha, Britain eventually gained de facto authority over both Egypt and Sudan. Because of the Ottoman Empire's involvement in World War I, Britain formally annexed these regions in 1914, ending the Ottoman Empire's nominal sovereignty over them. Because he mistrusted reformist admirals, Abdul Hamid II locked up the Ottoman fleet, which cost the country islands and foreign possessions in the Aegean Sea, the Mediterranean Sea, and North Africa. His financial struggles compelled him to cede management of the Ottoman national debt to foreigners, which affected the financial independence of the empire. A further source of tension with European countries was the merger of Bulgaria with Eastern Rumelia, which presented a danger, as did problems with the borders of Greece, Albania, and Montenegro. Remarkably, under the reign of Abdul Hamid II, conservatism gained ground. Prioritizing education, he reduced ministerial responsibilities and consolidated control at Yıldız Palace. He said, "We stand up as a state and as a nation." The establishment of Istanbul University and an extensive system of elementary, secondary, and military education was done to resist foreign influence and preserve Ottoman culture and Islamic principles. He also improved communication and transportation networks and reorganized the Ministry of Justice, all of which expanded the empire's dominion. The American occupation of the Moro Rebellion in the Philippines was aided and abetted by Sultan Abdul Hamid II. He instructed the Moros of the Sulu Sultanate to work with the Americans in a letter that he gave them. The Sulu Muslims were persuaded to accede to American suzerainty by the Sultan's letter, which was requested by U.S. Secretary of State John Hay. The Ottoman Sultan's might enabled this cooperation between the U.S. military and the Sulu Sultanate. Despite his pan-Islamic beliefs, Abdul Hamid opted not to support conflicts between Muslims and the West. With his connections with France and Great Britain strained, Abdul Hamid II turned to Germany for friendship. Abdul Hamid was entertained by Kaiser Wilhelm II of Germany on two of his visits to Istanbul. German government officials assisted in restructuring the Ottoman government's finances, while German officers were hired to reform the Ottoman army. Concessions were also granted to Germany, including the building of the Berlin-Baghdad Railway. During the Boxer Rebellion, Kaiser Wilhelm II even asked the Sultan for help in handling Chinese Muslim forces. Abdul Hamid's authority was seriously threatened by the Committee of Union and Progress, CUP-led Young Turk Revolution. The Macedonian battle, national humiliation, and army dissatisfaction with royal spies all contributed to the revolt. Abdul Hamid submitted to the forces advancing on Istanbul and declared the reinstatement of the 1876 constitution, which had been suspended. After the revolution, the Ottoman Parliament was established, and Abdul Hamid recognized the need for education before its reinstatement. He held the title of Sultan when Theodor Herzl founded the Zionist cause in 1896. When Herzl sent a message in 1901, Sultan Abdul Hamid reportedly replied, "While I am alive, I would rather push a sword into my body than see the land of Palestine cut and given away from the Islamic Caliphate." This was in answer to Herzl's plea for Palestine. He even received a large financial offer. "I will not sell a single inch of the country, because it is not mine, it belongs to all the Muslims," he said, turning down the offer. "Their blood bought this empire, and our blood will pay for its redemption. Give the Jews their millions back. Palestine will be given to the empire for free if it is divided, but it will happen on our graves." When Herzl personally went to see the Sultan, he repeated the offer, to which the Sultan said, "I would never agree, even if you paid me the weight of the earth in gold. I would never degrade Muslims in any way. Know that the blood of all Muslims is the price you must pay if you wish to purchase Palestine. Other than those who oppose Islam and Muslims, I have no adversaries."